Hello class, this is James Saunders coming to you from beautiful Sparta, Tennessee. Hope you're having a good week, and I hope by now that you've had a chance to begin getting acclimated to the class. That would include getting to know your classmates through the class autobiographies, getting to know the upcoming assignments, and also making sure that you have connected with your small group to begin talking about the group proposal that you have coming up for week 5. But for today, we're going to talk now briefly about Discussion Board 1 and Discussion Board 2 that are due by the end of Workshop 1. For the reading, we've talked about 3 things. Basically, Chapter 1 talks about the 11 curative factors, Chapter 2 talks about interpersonal relationships, and Chapter 3 talks about group cohesiveness. So when it comes to Discussion Board 1, just like the notes tell you, I'm going to remind you that you're really only going to be talking about the first 7 curative factors because all of them are not covered in this week's reading. So don't feel pressure like you have to read ahead and try to cram all that information. Just hit the highlights from your perspective. What is the author trying to say about those elements that best contribute to therapeutic change in a group context? Now I do want to read you out of Chapter 3 for Discussion Board 2, where he talks about group cohesiveness. Here's the author's own words of how he defines cohesiveness. Page 55, in the middle of the page, he says that basically, to him, cohesiveness has to do with the attractiveness of a group for its members. Members of a cohesive group feel warmth and comfort in the group and a sense of belongingness. They value the group and feel in turn that they are valued, accepted, and supported by other members. So when you talk about group cohesiveness, I've just told you on page 55, that's what the author defines as cohesiveness. So share with us, your classmates, what the reading has to say, give us your spin on it, and for both of these, I want to encourage you as I close, for both Discussion Board 1 and Discussion Board 2, and in future weeks, I want to encourage you to incorporate some biblical integration. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. For example, when I think about this idea of therapeutic change and how groups can greatly impact an individual in a positive way, it makes me think of Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I'm going to read for you out of the English Standard Version, probably a passage you're pretty familiar with, but think about this in the context of groups. Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 through 12. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. You see, Scripture is full, from Old Testament to New Testament, full of references to the idea of the power of groups, that there is strength in unified groups, that there is much good that can come from being in social groups together. So that's just a brief nutshell of how I would like for you to, in your writings, try to incorporate some biblical integration. As you look at the 11 curative factors, as you look at the idea of group cohesiveness, what does the Bible have to say about these topics? There's no right or wrong that I'm looking for. I want you to take the reading, digest it, put it against the lens of Scripture. What does God have to say, in your opinion, about groups and about therapeutic change, about making an impact in an individual and a group's life? Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing what you have to share this week. Keep in touch. Give me feedback on the videos if you want to. Talk to you later. God bless.